everybody. We're at the Redevelopment Commission meeting on March the 7th, 2022. Welcome. First item is roll call.
Deb Hutton here.
Deborah Meyerson here.
David Walter here.
Cindy Canarney here.
Randy Cassidy here.
Martha Street here.
And staff present.
John Zodi with hand.
Christina Finley with hand.
Larry Allen Legal. That's it.
I think we've got Director Crowley on from ESD and Jeff Underwood and for our city controller, and Brent Pierce, our assistant director, are on as well, and Christina Finley. Did you say her name?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
All right, thank you. Next item is reading of the minutes for February 21st, 2022, and executive summary for February 21st, 2022. If there's any, are there any questions or comments from the commissioners? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Deb Hutton, I move to accept the minutes of February 21st, 2022 and the executive summary for the same day.
David Walter, I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Deb Hutton, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes.
Randy Cassidy, yes.
David Walter, yes.
Cindy Canarney, yes. And I think now that we're back in person, we can just say aye, right?
Deb Hutton, aye.
Yeah.
There we go.
If one of you is participating electronically, we'll have to do the roll call, but until
Okay.
then, yeah, you could, since you're all here in person, you could say aye.
Oh, all right.
All right, meeting's passed unanimously. Next item is examination of claims for February 18th, 2022 for $363,999.52. Any questions, comments from the commissioners? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I reviewed the claims and.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the claims.
Second, Deb Hutton,
All in favor?
aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Unanimous consent. Next item on the agenda is examination of payroll registers for February 25th, 2022 for $34,420.85. Any questions or comments from the commissioners? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Deb Hutton, I'll move to accept the payroll registers of February 25th, 2022.
Deborah Meyerson, all second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right.
Yep.
Unanimous. Next item on the agenda is report of officers and committees. Director's report.
Thank you, President Canarney. Good afternoon, commissioners and members of the public. Welcome to our first in-person meeting. Thank you for bearing with me. This is my first in-person meeting as director, so hopefully I'm not fumbling my way through it. But a couple of things for you. The City Council unanimously passed your Community Development Block Grant recommendations last week at their March 2nd meeting, so we're good to go there, and we'll begin the process at the administrative level to get those projects going as soon as we have our notice of grant award, and we are in the process as well, sort of related to that, of completing our annual action plan for 2022, which is required by HUD each year. And so we are, if all goes as planned, we are working on it, finalizing it this week. It will go up for public comment next week for 30 days, and then will be submitted to HUD by April 17th. That's the current timeline. So I've just said that in a public meeting, so we're holding ourselves to it. So that will be done, and look forward to our goals for 2022. These projects will be in there, just to let you know kind of how all those logistics work. And that will be our game plan for the 2022 program year, which begins on June 1st. So the other thing I have for you is that I think we will expect a little bit more of a public update at the March 21st meeting about the hospital project, the Hopewell project, which is the Legacy Hospital site, of course. So I think you'll hear a little bit more about that, just the latest with some of the projects, aspects of the projects that we didn't hear about at our last meeting. So that concludes my report, unless there are any questions.
Any questions from the commissioners? All right. Legal report.
I don't have any report, but I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Treasurer's report. Mr. Underwood, are you out there?
is, but he's muted.
Yes, I'm sorry, repeat, I was dealing with another person. So,
No, just ask if you had a treasurer's report.
oh, no, I don't, sorry about that.
Okay, thank you. Business
Thank you.
development update. Alex, do you have a business development update?
Yes, hi,
Okay.
thank you. Just a quick update. We had spoken recently about bringing a design services agreement for Phase 2 for the Economic Development Administration grant. We were originally targeting this meeting. We're going back and forth on a couple of issues, so expect that at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Next item of business is new business. It's Resolution 22-12. Approval to increase the funding amount for the owner-occupied rehabilitation at 1911 East Hunter Avenue. Who would like to speak to this?
I'll speak to it, Madam President. John Zodi with the Hand Department. So as the commissioners know, periodically we've come to you to ask for an increase in funding for rehabilitation projects for homes. The most recent ones were 2 mobile home projects in December, where we were installing HVAC units, and the prices of those were higher than it originally came back. Our administrative manual, our programs and procedures document has a guideline in place that if there is a need for additional funds, we would come to the Redevelopment Commission, and there is a cap. So we have been working with the homeowner now to rehabilitate various aspects of his home, and it turns out this project, there are there's issues with the foundation. There's keep finding things, if you will. And so we are requesting your approval to go above the $38,500 cap threshold and do an amount not to exceed $5,000. We have a current estimate of $2,487.27. But in case there are any other changes, we would have to come back with another request. We think $5,000 is a reasonable amount to proceed with that. So asking for your consent and approval of that tonight.
Any questions from the commissioners?
Yeah, I'm having had to deal with foundations in the house I'm currently in, and it was way more than $5,000. So just what are we allowed to ask what is to be done for $2,500?
It is, let's see, the original amount provided was $37,000, and it is, that is, do you remember the bid? Yep. Commissioner Hutton, I don't have the bid with me. I should have had that for the meeting. So we'd have to get you some more detail.
So maybe some foundation work's already being done in the $37,000, and this is a top-up, so to speak, for the foundation.
It's what, I'm sorry?
Topping up.
Yeah.
In a little bit in addition for the foundation, not just the only stuff going toward the foundation.
That's right.
Did Cody have something you might want to chip in there?
What's that?
Cody.
Oh, Cody? Oh, good, Cody's on. I didn't know if Tommy was on. Cody, did you have something to say about the additional cost there?
At least part of the work that's being done with the foundation was, I believe it was $2,800, because when we were repairing one of the basement walls, we found out there was no footer underneath, which for that to be structurally secure, it does need that footer to be poured first. And then I believe there was also some concerns in getting the front stoop area up to code, which would result in, from the way it was constructed, would have to also, I believe, be replaced, which was $1,200. I know John could speak a little bit more to the way that was structured, but part of it had to do with also tearing up a portion of the sidewalk as well. So those two items alone were about $4,000, if I recall correctly.
Thank you.
So when this is done, this provides a bit of habitability for the homeowner, and he's taken care of for a long-term basis.
Yeah.
So we've got a solid home at a reasonable cost.
Yeah, this is our owner-occupied rehab program.
Okay.
so. And thanks, Cody. I'm sorry I didn't see you on. I knew you or John would be on, so I apologize for looking out of step there. So thanks for that detail.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Any other questions from, go ahead.
Sorry, just what kind of documentation is usually provided with this kind of approval in terms of just kind of a broader part of maybe the question that Deb was asking of just how do we know that what's being asked for is being covered? And I feel like Cody has answered that. I'm just asking about the general practice for providing an attachment with some kind of an estimate of what kind of work's being done that would help the RDC to understand what's being requested.
So you're asking following an approval or heading into the meeting?
I mean, like
for- in the
like as
packet?
an exhibit that would go with this
Yeah,
resolution.
that makes total sense to do it, to next time have the bid back, so you know. So I think that's perfectly reasonable, and we should do that, and we will.
Any other questions from the commissioners? If not, any comments from the public? And I don't know who can see those. Okay,
There isn't any.
okay. So no comments from the public. I'll entertain a motion for resolution 22-12.
Randy Cassidy, I'll make a motion to approve.
Randy, point of order, actually, you're not going to be able to
Oh, I can't. You're
make
correct.
motions
Sorry
and
about
vote
that.
on this
Thank
one,
you.
so anyone else would be free to
Okay, Deb,
not yet, next one, promise.
I'll move to accept or approve Resolution 2212.
David Walter, seconds.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, resolution passes.
I'll make sure the bid, or whatever appropriate documentation is put in our files with the resolution that's signed, so we have, at least that record, so.
So like when it's distributed for signatures, that will be attached?
Sure, yeah, if you want to.
That'll be great, thank you.
All right, next item of business, resolution 22-13, agreement for sustainability consultant for the Legacy IU Health Hospital site. Who'd like to speak to this?
Everyone, Alex Crowley, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
I have Lauren Clemens sitting next to me. Let me just briefly talk about this, see if you have any questions, and then Lauren's also here to help answer questions. So, as we're getting ready to prepare for the disposition of parcels for the Hopewell development, the hospital site, we have recognized, and the mayor has been focused on, and also the whole master planning process was highlighting the opportunity that exists to really increase the sustainability and the sustainable development within the property, and really make it hopefully something that stands out in the community. So we have looked around at different opportunities and decided that one way to advance really the objective that the master plan and all of us share here is to have a third party, in this case, Guide Dunn, come and really help us in a couple of different respects to prepare for the disposition of the property. So the first is to do some advanced due diligence work in terms of understanding how other communities have sort of entered this phase and really led up to a successful sustainable development outcome. The second is to help us through a workshop really educate the team on a couple of important aspects, that due diligence work, but also the financial impacts of different scenarios having to do with sustainable development. So to help us understand some of the financial implications of the kinds of outcomes that we're seeking. And then also to help us really break down and put in detail requirements that we'll want to pursue in order to, again, achieve those outcomes. So what kind of requirements would we want to bake into things like, for example, RFQs or RFPs that would allow us to pursue and achieve a more sustainable development process than we might otherwise see if we just left it out to the market to decide. So that's basically the objective here. It's a multifaceted scope of work. It is anchored on certainly on a workshop, which we are expecting to with your approval, implement sometime late March, early April, which will time well. And that's the summary. I'll open it up to questions.
Any questions from the commissioners?
Mr. Button, I'd just like to say, good job to do it.
Thank you.
All right, if there's no more questions from the commissioners, any comment from the public? No? All right. I'll entertain a motion for Resolution 22-13.
This is Deborah Myerson. I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 22-13 for the agreement for sustainability consultant.
Mr. Button, second.
All right, we have a first and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Next item of business is Resolution 22-14, right of entry to the Combine for access to Trades District lots. Who would like to speak to this?
Hi, it's me again.
Alex Raleigh, Director of Economic Sustainable Development. This is just a straight up right of entry and liability protection. The Combine, which you all may know, is a increasingly robust and exciting technology conference that occurs annually in Bloomington, but has not had the same kind of, obviously the last couple of years, opportunities to really flourish as it has in the previous years. One thing that they put out as an idea to us a couple of years ago was to do a drone show or sort of a drone showcase in as part of the conference. And literally what that means, and we'd be happy to sort of share YouTube videos if you want to take a look at it, but it's almost like it's almost like synchronized swimming of drones, right? It goes up in the sky and you have a whole bunch of drones and they can do really cool lighting. They can do cool design up in the sky. It's really, really cool. And just, it's not a big thing, but we just thought we'd like to see if we can help them facilitate that for the Combine this year. So this is really just to ask the Redevelopment Commission to allow for them to use the Trades District on April, I think it's 8th. And then there's actually a rain date possibility of April 9th. But we just wanted to make sure that the RDC was aware of this and that they would be willing to allow them right of access to the property to be able to do it that day.
All right, any questions from the commissioners?
I got a drone for a Christmas present. If somebody could show me how to use the dang thing, I'd be interested.
I think you should show up, David, to the Combine. There's probably some assistance there. Any public comment?
No.
All right, not hearing any. I'll entertain a motion for Resolution 22-14.
Deb Hutton, I'll make a motion to accept or approve Resolution 22-14, the right of entry to the Combine for access to the Trades District lots.
This is David Walter, I'll second that motion.
We have a first and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item of business is general discussion. Anything for the general discussion of the group?
Mr. Askins, who's in the room, also submitted a chat here.
Okay.
So if we want to just take general comment, we typically don't take general comment from the public, but you're always at your prerogative, welcome to entertain that. It's part of the meeting record as part of the chat. So.
Okay. All right, thank you for that. Anybody have any questions regarding that? All right, if not, we'll move on to adjournment. I'll entertain a motion.
David Walter, I'll move we adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
We're adjourned. Good night.